Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Episode 3. As usual, before we get started, I should remind you that this is just the beta for Pathfinder Kingmaker, so certain things are likely to change as development moves forward. That said, today we're headed into the Stolen Lands, which means we're taking our first look at the game's world map system. Now, we're just in Act 1, but the game already presents us with a fairly sizable area to explore. There are over a dozen locations to discover, but to reach them, we have to navigate a maze of pre-established pathways. You do this by simply choosing a direction for your party to travel in, and they'll continue traveling in that direction until they encounter either a landmark or a random encounter. Speaking of which, let's see what we just ran into. Okay, it looks like we just encountered 3 wolves. That's a nice, low-level combat encounter to start us off with. We'll have Harem and Amiri immediately engage in melee combat. That should buy Retcon the time he needs to finish summoning up a celestial pony. We'd also normally have Lindsay start playing some bardic music, but since she can't actually do that at the moment, we'll just have her cast a spell instead. There we go. We've got our death pony in play, and Amiri's already killed one of the wolves. Alright, combat is over, and now we're getting the resting tutorial. That's actually pretty important, because this is the first opportunity we've actually had to rest since the prologue. We'll go ahead and set up camp in just a moment, but first, let's loot these corpses. There we go.
It is done.
Now we just need to find a nice open spot. And we can use the camping interface to set up our camp. This will allow our party to get some proper rest, recovering health and spell slots, and removing certain debuffs such as fatigued or exhausted. Since your characters will naturally become fatigued while they're traveling around on the world map, it's imperative to make sure you've always got sufficient camping supplies. Though of course you do have to strike a proper balance. Camping supplies are heavy, so if you get carried away, you can easily end up over-encumbering your party. Oh, and speaking of encumbrance, it's also worth mentioning that I rearranged some of our party loadouts between episodes. The changes aren't dramatic, but it does keep everyone in the light encumbrance bracket, which minimizes penalties to things like movement speed and skills. And for anyone who's wondering why Amiri's sword is so absurdly oversized, it's apparently because it's a weapon that was meant to be wielded by a giant. She actually took an exotic weapon proficiency just so she could wield this weapon. It provides her with a pretty significant damage output, but of course that comes at the cost of a lower than average defense. We'll have to see if we can boost her armor class in the future if we want her to remain viable in combat. We're also currently over-encumbered with all of the vendor trash we picked up during the prologue. I don't think party encumbrance actually slows you down in combat, but it does seem to slow you down on the world map, so we'll probably end up selling most of this stuff off once we reach Oleg's trading post. Anyway, let's check out the camping interface. Now, this can look pretty intimidating at first, but it's actually pretty straightforward. All you really need to do is set the amount of time you want your party to rest, then assign tasks to your various party members. If you assign a character to go hunting, then they'll attempt to find additional rations for the next time you set up camp. While a character who's assigned to camouflage your campsite will instead reduce the chance that you'll be ambushed in the middle of the night. If you assign a character to handle the cooking, then they'll attempt to improve the quality of the meal that your party eats while they're resting. Successfully preparing a meal will provide a long-term buff the following day, with different recipes determining the nature of the buff provided. You can also assign party members to different guard shifts, which again appears to reduce the chance of being ambushed while camping. Of course, you'll notice that there are far more job slots than there are characters in your party. While you can assign a character to handle multiple jobs, they'll end up being fatigued or exhausted when they wake up the next morning, which kind of defeats the purpose of camping in the first place. Since we're currently on a relatively safe road, we don't really need to get fancy with this. We'll just begin resting and see how it goes. You studied writing for such a long time, put so much effort in your art, and they threw you out of the academy. Yet in spite of all this, you didn't give up. Why? Maybe because if I did give up, it would mean they got what they wanted. Or, no, maybe because life without writing would be so boring. To be honest, I never really thought about it. Now, I do like that they trigger random party conversations while you're resting, but at the moment there's no way to speed through them. There we go. Okay. It looks like we were very successful with our hunting. We also successfully camouflaged the camp, and Lindsay messed up the cooking. I guess that's what happens when Harem distracts her. Now let's see if we end up getting ambushed. Looks like we're fine. Alright, we're rested and ready to go, so let's move on. Now we do have the option of backtracking if we really wanted to, but since there's not much reason to return to Lady Jamandi's mansion, we'll just continue moving forward. There's Oleg's trading post. Now, it may not have seemed like much, but traveling here took us the better part of a day, so our characters are going to start getting fatigued again soon.
It is done.
Fortunately, we can rest at the trading post. We just have to take care of a few things first. Save yourselves, fools! Could you maybe give me some more details about that, or no? Ah, I see. Well, it looks like our contact is being harassed by bandits, so I guess we should do something about it. In the name of the Stag Lord, the lawful authority in the stolen lands, we demand this week's tax. And some beer. And where's that pretty wife of yours, Oleg? She should serve us dinner. Quiet down, dimwit. Oleg, we're just here for the Stag Lord's tax. Hand over the money, and we'll be on our way. You want to drink some of my blood, too? I'm sick of you. You're like locusts. You think you control everything around here just because you put up that painted rag of yours? You come here, squeeze us dry, and Oleg, a large man with a rough face, stops talking when he notices you. Ah, you must be guests from Rostov. What's going on here? Isn't it obvious? These thugs are robbing us honest settlers. They say they're taking some tax for their leader, the Stag Lord. Oleg spits. But I didn't swear allegiance to any Stag Lords. I pay my taxes to Rostov. But Rostov is so far away, Oleg, and the Stag Lord is so close. And as for you, the young dark-haired woman squints angrily at you. Get out of here before it's too late. This is our land. We own it. I'm not interested in bloodshed, but I won't let you rob this man. Be on your way and I'll let you go in peace. The woman smiles coldly. Alright, we'll leave. But what makes you think we won't just come back with greater numbers? Why would we leave when we've got easy pickings from Rostov before us? We'll rip out your guts and empty your pockets. I guess that went about as well as we could expect it to. At least it looks like Kressel decided to be reasonable. As for the rest of these guys, we'll take them out with our usual strategy. We'll have Harem and Amiri rush into close combat, Retcon will start summoning up a death pony, and Lindsay will lay down some inspirational tunes. That's one down already. I don't think we'll even need the death pony. Oh, shoot. But it looks like Harem took a pretty heavy hit. Let's toss out some healing spells.
Way to use this spell.
Okay, there we go. The bandits are dead and Kressel is long gone. Good thing, too, because we're just becoming fatigued. Let's hit Harem with a few more healing spells, then we'll go have a chat with Oleg.
I wrote it like I saw it.
This is my path.
That's some pretty weak healing. The RNG isn't being very cooperative with us. Okay, let's go talk to Oleg. We are so over-encumbered right now.
No stopping now.
Take that, you scoundrels! Oleg shakes his fist. But now, he scratches his head and stares at the ground gloomily. The girl got away, a plague on her. She's certain to complain to the Stag Lord. They came before to collect taxes, but this time they'll come to punish treason. Now what are we to do? He sighs heavily. If only I could send Svetlana somewhere safe and show those rats what's what. He notices a fair-haired woman approach. Dove, why are you here? I told you to stay hidden. It's all over. I saw it. I just needed to be sure you were all right. The woman looks at her husband tenderly, if with a hint of sorrow. Oleg mumbles something as he looks away, embarrassed. My name is Svetlana. I'm sorry your arrival to our trading post turned out so unwelcoming. A lot of options this time. Let's see here. Tell me more about yourselves. Oleg shifts uncomfortably. Surely there are more important things to discuss. Well, all right. We're just honest people who came here from Restov. We fixed up the old fort to house travelers and give merchants a place to trade with the locals. We also deal with the occasional huntsman in the area. What does any of this matter? When those bandits come back, they'll either drain us dry or just kill us. I saw someone run out of the trading post. Do you know who it was? That must have been Bakken. He sells potions. He lives out in the forest like a hermit, but he comes here every day. He knows every tree and bush in the area and how they can help you. The Stag Lord's gang wants him to work for them. He lacks the courage to fight those bandits, but he won't just walk away from us. He has a good heart, even if he grumbles a lot. Especially recently. Let's get to the point. You say the bandits are going to attack again? Who are they, and when will they arrive? Oleg waves his hand sullenly. Who are they? They're the Stag Lord's gang, that's who. These lands teem with bandits like bedbugs in a beggar's hut, and you just stirred them up. They have a camp not far from here. I expect they'll return in full force in half a day, maybe less. The Stag Lord won't take an insult like this lightly, and his henchmen are more like demons than men. Tell me as much as you know. How many bandits are there? What do they want? What do they want? Those bloodsuckers think they own this land. They come, take what they want, and steal the better part of our money every month as a toll for their leader. They even broke our gate so we couldn't try to hide anything from them. No one knows exactly how many there are. Sometimes only 5 or 6 come. Sometimes it's a whole gang. I'd have shown them what for long ago, if not for Svetlana. They claimed they were collecting taxes. Why? For the Stag Lord and his cronies, of course. That Stag Lord fancies himself a king in these parts. He may have antlers for a crown, but all the troublemakers around here are happy to follow his orders as long as they're paid. So they charge an arm and a leg as taxes, and they call their executions punishment for treason, even those who never swore allegiance to the Stag Lord. They're killed fast if they're lucky. If not, Oleg looks to Svetlana. Dove, why don't you go start supper while we finish our talk? I've no need to be protected from dark talk. I'm not some blind kitten, you know. I've seen what they do to people. Svetlana lowers her head. Most of the gang is made up of simple bandits, but there are a few monsters among their leadership, especially those close to the Stag Lord. Ox and Dovan from Nizrok come to mind. They like to make a show of their tortures and executions. My husband and I, we saw the bodies. Well, we're definitely not taking the evil option, so...
You have nothing to fear. I'll help you deal with the attack.
Well, I appreciate your good intentions. I may not have the best manners, but Oleg Levitin is the last name you'll hear accused of being ungrateful. If we manage to defend this post, I'll reward you proper. We have to hide Svetlana. Please, don't argue, Dove. Now, we also need to decide on a plan. Go ahead and look around. There may be some tools that can be used for the battle. There are some pretty solid traps around, some tar, and a box of Alchemist's Fire, looks like.
Alchemist's Fire? We could put it by the gate. Light it off with a burning arrow when those bandits are nearby.
But that could set the post on fire, Oleg shouts, surprised. Well, maybe if we covered the walls with something to protect them. Alright, yes, I think it could work. I'll even shoot the arrow myself. I used to be pretty good with a bow, back in my day. I think that's everything we can do for now, so...
I'm going to look around, think on the best way to use the tar and traps.
Alright, soon as you're finished, let us know. And don't leave the post. The bandits could return at any time. Okay, now we just need to loot some containers and set up some defenses. Oh, right. We're still massively over-encumbered. Let's take care of that real quick.
Oleg, I'd like to see your goods.
Don't know what good trading will serve if those bloodsuckers come back and take everything, but alright, have a look. Okay, so this is our first look at the trading interface in Pathfinder Kingmaker. And honestly, it's pretty straightforward. It's a basic drag and drop system, and since there's no bartering or trading skills, the prices tend to stay pretty consistent. I think you can get special discounts from certain vendors as quest rewards, but normally you'll be buying things at 100% of their value and selling them at 25%. In this case, we'll be clearing out most of our inventory. We'll dump most of the weapons and armor we picked up during the prologue. We'll also get rid of things like treasure items and scrolls. Basically, we're just trying to unencumber the party and raise enough gold to buy at least 1 or 2 good items before we take on the bandits. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned it before, but we got these magic bracers from the assassin leader we fought during the prologue. It's not really useful to us now because the bonus doesn't stack with normal armor, but it will come in handy once we get our first dedicated spellcaster. Wait, that was our rations. We need those. Okay, I think that's everything. That'll get us almost 1,000 gold and free up almost 300 pounds of inventory space in the process. Now let's see what we can actually buy with all this gold. He's got a big pile of masterwork weapons to choose from, but we don't really need any of those right now. Oh, but he does have a few basic magic items. The only one we can actually afford is this +1 heavy shield, so we'll go ahead and grab that for Retcon. I know he's also got... Yeah, there it is. He's got a Ring of Protection for sale, but we definitely can't afford that right now. I'd love to get that for Amiri, but we'll have to come back for it later, once we've done some adventuring. Oh, but what we can do is have Retcon equip the new magic shield, and then he can pass his Ring of Protection over to Amiri. I could have sworn Retcon had a 20 armor class before. Let's see here. Oh, right. It's because he's fatigued. That imposes a -2 penalty to strength and dexterity. Okay, well, that explains that, so let's pass the ring over to Amiri. Wait, why can't she equip it? Well, we did get it from Tartuccio, so maybe it's a story item that only Retcon can equip. Alright, well, we'll worry about that later. For now, let's just take care of our level ups. Okay, so as near as I can tell, the level up system in Pathfinder Kingmaker follows the tabletop rules pretty closely. There are options for multi-classing, but I think we'll keep things simple and focus on a single class for now. In this case, becoming a second-level monster tactician will grant Retcon a special wisdom-based bonus to his initiative, and an extra first-level spell slot. We've also got some more skill points to play with, so we'll keep stacking the skills we already know how to use. Oh, but because we're getting 4.5 skill points per level, we'll only be able to raise Use Magic Device every odd-numbered level. Now, since we get a new first-level spell slot, we also get a new spell to go with it. I think Shield of Faith will do nicely. That's a nice basic defensive spell. Now we just need to review our decisions, and I think that looks fine. Let's move on to the next character. Okay, now, Harem will obviously take a second level in Cleric. I don't think that gives him any new special abilities, but it will give him plenty of passive stat boosts and access to a new spell slot. He's also got 1 skill point to spend, but let's be honest here, it doesn't really matter what we put it in. He's pretty much useless as far as skills go. I guess I could put it into Perception to take advantage of his high wisdom score, but that's not a cleric skill, so he wouldn't get the normal +4 training bonus. Alright, whatever. We'll just put it in religious lore and move on. Okay, now we just review his updated character sheet, and it's Lindsay's turn. We'll have Lindsay take another level of Bard. It looks like that gets her a bonus feat, and a +4 bonus on savings throws versus sound-based attacks. She's got 4 skill points, so obviously 2 of those will go into her knowledge skills. We'll also put 1 point in Trickery, since she's the closest thing we have to a rogue. I'm not really sure what to do with her last point. I don't want her to overlap too heavily with our other characters, so it'll either go into mobility or stealth. I guess we'll stick with mobility for now. Okay, now we need to pick her bonus feat, and we should probably take something that'll boost her combat ability. The obvious choice is weapon focus, but I don't think I'm ready to commit her to using a light crossbow for the rest of her career. None of these other choices are really jumping out at me either. Let's see what other options we have with Combat Trick. Oh, I know what she could use. She's always firing into melee, so let's give her Precise Shot. Okay, apparently we need the point-blank shot feat as a prerequisite. That's fine, that's a pretty good feat too. Given the nature of the game, most combat encounters will take place at close range anyway. Now we just need to choose a new spell, and I think the obvious choice is Summon Monster. Alright, that looks fine, so 1 more character to go. Now, for Amiri, I think we'll shake things up a little. I know they changed the class a bit in Pathfinder, but I've never been a big fan of a single-class barbarian. Their main class feature is their rage ability, but it just runs out too quickly, and the negatives can be pretty overwhelming. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is have her spend a couple of levels training as a fighter instead. That'll give her access to a wider variety of combat feats, and we can really use that to improve her survivability. She's got a couple of skill points, so I guess we'll put that in athletics and perception. That way she can help stand guard when we're camping at night. Actually, you know what? Let's have her train in mobility instead. We'll be keeping her in medium armor anyway. Now we just need to pick a combat feat, and she's already got plenty of offense, so I think our best bet here is to pick something that'll boost her defense. Armor focus isn't bad, but I don't think we're ready for that one. We'll grab dodge instead. That's a nice, basic +1 dodge bonus to armor class. Alright, that takes care of our level ups, and it looks like it got rid of our fatigue as well. Let's go set up those defenses. You notice some good steel traps in the box. Okay, well, obviously we'll take them and set them up. It's not much, but hopefully it'll make a difference. Let's keep looking around. Nothing up here.
Onwards.
Ah, there we go. The walls of the old fort have been renovated recently, but they're not finished yet. This seems to be tar. Okay, it says we can spell this near the entrance, so I guess we'll do that. There's a heavy mace and some treasure. I'm sure Oleg won't mind if we just help ourselves to that.
March on.
More treasure. We'll take that as well.
No stopping now.
There's Bakken. We should probably talk to him. Let's try talking to Svetlana, too. Okay, she just shares Oleg's dialogue tree. A frail, disheveled old man wearing a stained and tattered robe gives you a gloomy look. I'm Bakken, local herbalist. What brings you here? Tell me about yourself. What's there to tell? I'm an herbalist. Make potions and sell them. Gather herbs, roots, berries. Bakken sighs. I live in the forest, live off the land. Since leaving Restov for these parts, I ended up a merchant here at Oleg and Svetlana's post. They let me in out of kindness, help me with things. They bring me water or firewood when it's cold, and the occasional barrel of honey. They're good people. We could use your help fighting the bandits. Where's this coming from? You want an old man like me to fight? Here, take this potion. Consider that my help in your fight. Okay, well, we could try to convince him to help us anyway, but he makes a good point. He's a frail old man, and he's almost certain to die in a fight against the bandits, so we'll just leave him be. Anyway, let's finish looking around, and then we'll wrap things up with the bandit fight. The old well has been renovated and cleaned. It even has a new roof. Good to know. There's some weapons and shields. Nothing we're actually going to use, but I do want to check something real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. They couldn't get bucklers to work the same way they do in tabletop, so in Kingmaker they're basically just a lighter version of the light shield.
It is done.
Alright, let's get this started. This might end up going pretty badly, so I'll set up a quick save too. Oh, hold on a second. I almost forgot to set Harem's new spell slot. We don't really have to worry about that sort of thing with Retcon or Lindsay, because they both use spontaneous casting. But Harem, he still does things old school. Now let's see here. Okay, we can always use more healing spells. Alright, let's try this again. I'm prepared for the attack. Get in your positions and wait. Amiri flexes her shoulders. Finally, a fight. Was bored with all that talking. Well, these aren't the heroics I was hoping to write about, but I guess even the greatest heroes had to start somewhere. I see you're not easily cowed. I beg you, be careful, and please don't let Oleg do anything too risky. Svetlana, go hide inside. We're going to meet our guests. Okay, here we go. Let's hope this goes well. Kobolds eat me alive! What is this? Okay, there's a lot more than I thought there would be, but we can probably handle this. First we'll have Lindsay start playing some inspiring music, and we'll have Harem toss out a bless spell. Now we need to make sure Amiri holds back for a second. We don't want her running into those traps. I guess we could also summon up a death pony. Oleg set himself up in a pretty awkward position, so he could probably use the cover. Oh yeah, they're all headed right for him. Okay, let's, shoot. Let's get Amiri in there. Amiri has actually got it under control, so let's shift our focus to those bowmen in the back. Okay, we've got 3 bandit bowmen and one of them is a named character. Let's get over there and take them out. The tar is really slowing us down, so let's drop a death pony right on top of them. There we go. Now we can flank the named character. Oh shoot, they got Oleg. Nope, wait, he's fine. Guess they couldn't get through his plot armor. Okay, let's loot these corpses and get things wrapped up. Oh, there we go. That's our real prize right there. Looks like we found a Cloak of Resistance +1. That grants a +1 bonus to all of our savings throws. The rest of this stuff is just vendor trash, but that's fine. Let's go talk to Oleg. Oleg is breathing heavily, but he shakes his fist in the air menacingly. You rats got what you deserved. Now they'll know better than to treat honest people like cattle. We should call Bakken out before he freezes in those bushes. Now, my lord, head on up to the guest rooms on the 2nd floor. You deserve some rest after such a battle. I need to clean things up. And this is for your efforts. Now, don't offend me by trying to turn it down. Just take it. An honest fight deserves an honest reward. If that were more common practice in this world, I think life would be so much better. Okay, like the man said, let's go get some rest. There's a bunch of food items we could take. Those are good for preparing special recipes when you're camping, but at the moment they're just too heavy to bother carrying around. Hopefully that's something that'll change as they balance the encumbrance system. Okay, let's get upstairs, and we've got one or two more things to do before we wrap the episode. First, we'll have Lindsay put her new lockpicking skills to good use.
What troubles you? Anything else?
Not bad. That gets us a big stack of high-value vendor trash. Let's see if she can crack open another one.
Applause, please.
Nice. And just one more to go. Very nice. That puts us well on our way to buying that second ring of protection. Now let's get our new Cloak of Resistance equipped. £3. That's going to make it tricky to use without over-encumbering someone. I guess Harem could wear it. Amiri's got plenty of room, too. We've got some significant clipping issues there. I wish I could turn off her backpack. Okay, that's really going to bother me, so let's see how it looks on Harem. Wow, that's still pretty bad. I guess we'll just have to live with it for now. Anyway, get some rest, heroes. You've earned it. And I think that brings us to a good stopping point for the episode. We'll pick up here next time as we take on our first quests and finally begin our exploration of the Stolen Lands. But for now, this is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.